Hello and welcome to another episode of the Chaos Chronicles.
Navigating the randomness.
I'm Jess,
I'm Connie.
and we are back for another Am I the A-hole Reddit thread.
That's right. And before we launch too deeply into things, just a reminder that you can find us at all of our social medias, which are linked in the description below. We would very much appreciate a like, follow, and subscribe.
All right, are you ready to dive into the drama of today's Reddit posts?
Reddit, are you ever not drama filled? No. The answer is
I
no. But
love
my
it.
answer is yes. Yeah. Let's go.
I'm here for the drama. Okay. Am I the a-hole for not telling my roommates and sisters I am the owner? I, 33 female, bought my home right before the pandemic. The world shut down, and I shut into my remote work with the solitude and comfort of the natural introvert. The house was extra large, and I only really could afford it because the family selling it was in need of a quick sell. The house had a finished attic and basement, which were easily converted into a not so mini apartment. The basement had its own entry point and also connects to the main house. There are 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, and the master room has a walk in closet. During the pandemic, my sisters both were hit hard and quickly needed to downsize as their own roommates moved back home. My sisters, 25 female and 27 female, and I do not have such a luxury, so I offered them the rooms below market rate, and I told them they needed to supply their own food. The rent was really to help with the increase in bills. They were both still in school at the time, but also working. This arrangement gave them more breathing room financially. Then, a girl they both knew was evicted from her home with her boyfriend because the family they rented from needed the home back. I offered the basement at near market rate, though still a little under, as I felt bad, and it is a basement apartment. After that, a friend of a friend heard about my arrangement and asked if there were any rooms left. I gave him the attic apartment for another near market rent. Rental agreements were drafted up for each person. I explained the basic rules, the rent, and how long they would have if rent was not received. I told them to read it and return it to me once signed. I left them each with their own copy. I collect the rent the first Saturday of the month. They leave the name blank on the checks for me to fill out, and I always thought it was because they were afraid of misspelling my stupid, unique name and having the check bounce as a result. But apparently not. The issue, I still have one free room, in quotes, and the main part of the house, but I use it as my office and it's locked up. My friend knows my sisters, and they got to chatting while out together. They bumped into each other during a day out. My sister mentioned the extra room, and my friend has a cousin, 18 female, who will be starting college in our city, and asked if my landlord would rent it out to her. I brushed the comment I brushed over the comment because I thought there was a miscommunication, and I told her that the room wasn't for rent as I use it as my home office. She asked if I was paying for the room, and I told her, why would I pay for a room in a house I own? She got a little quiet, apologized for pushing, and told me the struggle it's been to find a spot for her cousin. I told her all of my tenants are solid until December when renewals go out. I can offer her a spot if someone moves, but I stressed it was unlikely as everyone gets along, stays out of each other's business, and it works well for them. We dropped the topic. A few
Sorry, just
days,
to clarify, this is
yes.
the OP original poster. This is her sister that's having her conversation with OP.
So this is a friend that knows her sisters. So a friend of the sisters went out and were chatting about the friend's cousin who would be starting college in that city. So she's looking for a place for the friend's
Oh,
cousin. Hmm.
gotcha. So friend. is, I might be jumping ahead. Nope, don't jump ahead. I'll let you do it. Never mind. We clarified.
A few days ago, my sisters asked me how the talk went, and I said okay, but her cousin won't be moving in. They asked why, and I explained them the situation above. They suggest I move my office into my bedroom or the main room and stop paying rent for extra room to save costs. When I asked what they meant, they said, well, you do pay rent for the extra space, right? No. I then asked if they knew that I was the landlord, and they were floored. They never actually read the agreement that they had signed. Which I know to you is like,
That's not a defense, but okay, okay.
uh huh. They went off on me about how I should have told them and that they shouldn't have been paying rent to family. I told them rent was covering their increase in bills. I wasn't going to house them for free when they made enough to cover a fair share on a shared expense. If they would rather full market rent on the rooms they were currently in, I could arrange that come renewal. By now, they could afford it with their jobs and having saved money on rent for 5 years. They called me an a hole for holding rent above their heads. This then leaked to the tenants as they talked about the issue to their friends in the basement. While their rent is more than just for bills, it is not the market value I could get out of the space, despite them each having income and no family support. They came to me and asked that I lower the rent, as if being friends with my sister was reason enough, as I was the landlord and not somebody they didn't actually know. The deal they had no longer seems in their favor, apparently. I told them that they had till December to decide if they want to renew because it was not going to be lowered. They are now acting like I'm kicking them out when all I said was now they fully understand their position. They need to make a choice to stay, as with the current costs and the annual adjustment as needed, as well as our agreement, or begin the process of looking as rent prices have skyrocketed and it's much harder to find a place. The adjustments do not include knowing I am the landlord. My attic tenant asked if I was cleaning the house and basically begged that I don't kick him out. His family turned their back on him because of conflicting views. Personally, his views don't bother me. His family's, though, eesh. I explained it all in detail, and he was like, wait, I always knew you were my landlord because it's in my rental agreement. But he also never put my name down because it's too hard to spell. Now everyone's upset with me because I feel unwelcomed in my own home. Am I the a hole? Would I be the a hole if I didn't renew one or all of their leases because of the hostility I feel?
Okay. None
What you
of what we
got?
are about to. Well, first, we've got a disclaimer. Nothing
Yeah.
we are about to talk about constitutes any form of legal advice, life advice, none of that. We are two girls on the internet, okay? Make your own choices. The only piece of advice we will stand by is use common sense. That
Read
being
what you
said,
sign.
read what you sign. My God. Like, oh dear, no, no. Okay, you know what? Does everyone read the terms and conditions on those crazy long things for everything? Probably not. Most likely not everyone. Your rental agreement? Oh my God. You print that thing out. You get multiple colored highlighters. You go through your rental agreement. They didn't read the rental. They did not read. Zeus, do you believe this? They did not read the rental agreement. So, not reading is a pet peeve of mine, if you can't tell.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You should
so
know who your landlord is, also.
landlord is also the idea of writing out a check with the two portion not filled out.
Blank. Yeah.
I mean, it's not a blank check per se, and that the amount is written, but how do you?
Well, you don't know where it's technically going. That's risky. That's
Yeah,
risky.
there's so much about this where like genuinely I do not feel bad for a single one of the tenants. I mean the attic one, it sounds like if I was tracking correct, because I didn't have my notepad with me today,
Mm-hmm.
the attic tenant is the one who actually read their agreement, right?
Correct.
Okay, so attic dude, you're fine. You're fine. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
To the rest of them, oh my goodness. No, I don't feel bad for you at all. And that is so entitled, thinking that you are entitled to anything more than what you are already getting, which has been a gift. That's where I sit.
Well, we have updates.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this episode is just going to be all one Reddit thread because we got updates.
Let's go. Let's go.
Update 1, 3 days later. Hello, everyone. I wanted to thank everybody for taking the time to read my last post and offer up their advice, comments, thoughts, and judgment. I took some of the advice given and I have taken the don't rent to family or friends again to heart. So I'm going to jump into the update. I'm going to try to break it down bit by bit before going into it all. Mr. Attic, I'm keeping him.
Good call. Good call.
I pulled him aside first and separately. I told him I would not be renewing the others' leases in December and asked if he would want to rent the basement for market value. He turned it down, asking to keep the attic as he was comfortable there. I told him it would probably be in his best interest to let the others believe that this is a whole house clean out so he doesn't get caught in the crossfire. He agreed and went out of his way to turn his social media to private. He also sent me screenshots of a group chat that he had been added to. The group chat, my sisters and the other pair of tenants started up a group chat to kvetch about me being so uncompromising and greedy. They were coming up with ideas to not pay rent or only pay part. The basement tenants joked about one of them losing their job so they could ask for leniency since I was too stuck up to be kind to them about the rent. The harassment. My sisters and Mr. / Mrs. Basement had told their friends and the families of Mr. and Mrs. Basement about the rent, the lies, and my inability to consider outside perspective and need. I had a steady stream of calls, DMs, texts, and posts directed at me since before I made my last post, which is what prompted me to post. I made my accounts private, disabled some of the messaging functions, and told the four of them to get this to stop before I got my lawyer involved. Spoiler, they didn't. So, after taking a night to think about it, I brought the group together to have a discussion about the rent situation. My sisters looked smug, and Mr. / Mrs. Basement kept sharing knowing looks. I told them bluntly that I was not going to renew leases in December because of their actions, attitudes, and lack of consideration has made me feel unvalued, humiliated by their family, and unwelcome in my own home. I told them if they found an apartment or a place to go before December, I wouldn't charge them for breaking the lease, but if there were any damages at all, they would not get their security deposits back until the pricing out was settled. If there was more damage than the security deposit, they would be taken to court. I told them I was done being kind and understanding to people who thought so lowly of me. I also warned them that I could and would break the lease myself if needed, in which case they would have 30 days. It was immediate chaos. A lot of yelling, insults, and cursing. Even Mr. Attic, but he was yelling at the others for getting him kicked out when he didn't do anything. He made an epic show of storming up the attic and slamming the door. He sent me laughing emojis and texted that he wasn't going to be able to keep a straight face a little later. I waited for them to stop yelling, and when they demanded what they would do, I set a stack of ads for apartments and houses for rent in the nearby area and said that they would have to start looking now. I told my sisters I would help pay for their moving truck, but I told the basement tenants that they would have to ask their families for help moving out. Mr. Basement picked up the stack of papers and his eyes went wide. He stared at me and asked if I was serious. I told him the prices listed were not mine to judge, change, or deal with. I reminded him his current place was below market because I had a say in it. Market prices for one bedrooms in the area are well over $1,500 a month if he wants near his work and close enough to walk to stores and things. He currently has a two-bedroom for less than that. My sisters grabbed some of the papers, and the 27-year-old started crying because she couldn't afford an apartment on her own. She told me about her student loans and credit card debt. I told her, too bad, I gave you a good deal out of kindness, and you sent an army after me. I would have considered letting you stay if you hadn't been so nasty. I told all of them that they could probably swing a two-bedroom between the four of them and got up and left. They refused to talk to me now. My sisters spent the night in the basement apart, and I could hear shrieks and crying if I walked by the door that led down there. I feel a little bad, but reread your comments to keep my sanity. As for if I want them out, I can give them 30 days notice since they're inside my own home. I checked and double checked with the lawyer, and this information had been in their rent contracts. If I do have to kick them out and they refuse to leave and drag it out in court, which they don't have the money for, I have been given some handy advice by a fellow landlord who has removed his own brother. I can't remove them by force, but I can make living there entirely uncomfortable. Nothing stops me from taking doors off hinges or starting remodeling while their stuff is in the way. Nothing stops me from turning off the water or electric for their section of the house during remodeling. Quick edit, just for remodeling purposes, it wouldn't be done to make them leave, but they can't stop my remodeling as squatters. It might seem like an a-hole thing to do, but they would be the ones to start it, and I actually want to repaint and do some adjustments. The reason I am leaning on evicting them by August is because the harassment has gotten so much worse now that there is an actual non-renewal happening. I'm leaving my phone on silent and collecting messages, voicemails, emails, and other things to hand off to my lawyer next week. I told them to call off their dogs and they haven't. I asked Mr. Attic if he knew anyone who would need a place and to let me know. He has a few friends from his community who seem interested as they either live with roommates or families and want out. If anyone has any questions this quiet morning, I will try to answer them. Quick edit, I have cameras outside and in common rooms facing the front and back doors, the hallways, upstairs, and the door leading to the basement. The tenants have access to the entry point ones like Mr. Attic has to his area. Mr. and Mrs. Basement have the feed that leads to the door inside the main house, and they all have outside camera access. I'm thinking of cutting access to the outside cameras for them. They can't do anything to the feeds as guests in the system, so they can't delete anything. And my access automatically saves on my extra external system. I might just cut them all out of the system except for Mr. Attic for peace of mind. Also, I keep seeing people ask about my family. There are no parents and no family from our side. My sisters have no relationships with their fathers or their families. Mine have been killed due to his own actions. There is no sympathy for the likes of him, and his family shunned him, so they shunned me as well. And our mother is a cup of ash left at the funeral home.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was update 1.
I mean, yeah, reality it hurts. It hurts, and it sounds like the four of them are getting a good dose of it. I do feel like the whole show of Mr. Attic and all that going on, that's that's given me some vibes. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I also understand where it's coming from. But all around, this is just, yeah, not looking
It's not
good.
a no. I am glad though that she's not kicking Mr. Attic out because
Yeah.
he's totally fine.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I meant like the behind the back thing, but also like from an evidence gathering standpoint, it's good. I don't know. All of this just feels really awful, and the entirety of that fault I'm really putting on those four tenants.
Oh yeah, for sure. Are you ready for update 2?
Yes, please.
Hey everyone, I'm very tired. Thank you all for your kind words and wonderful advice. On to the update. Mr. Attic's friends, 2 have agreed to take the bedrooms my sisters are currently occupying when they move out. I've met them, we've talked at length, and they are wonderful people. One helped me change a tire on my car because I ended up getting a flat just after our meeting, and she was incredibly kind and showed me how to change it. Like she walked me through it step by step, letting me do it, just explaining how. I can't believe I've never changed a tire before. Weirdly embarrassing. The harassment and the lawyer. The lawyer sent a cease and desist to everyone who had contacted me. Then he went on and filed for restraining orders slash orders of protection and claim for slander slash defamation. There were many posts with me tagged or with my name claiming I was an unfit landlord, a slumlord, a greedy bee, a home wrecker because apparently I came on to Mr. Basement. Ha ha, so funny because he is fugly and you couldn't pay me to touch that. And
Sorry.
more. I, I love these little side comments by OP. These things take time, but there was an almost immediate drop off of calls, messages, etc. Mr. slash Mrs. Basement have been served their notice. They helped spread lies and deception. They have ceased all communication with me, but they only have 30 days, and I have post it notes on their porch reminding them every day how long they have. I've seen them starting to take smaller things out today, which is what prompted this update. Mrs. Basement can be heard crying a lot if I stand by the top of the stairs. I think they might be moving back in with their family, which is what they had been avoiding by moving into my basement. Her mother is toxic, her father has a new wife who hates her, and Mr. Basement's family dislikes her enough to outright ignore her or tell her to her face that she isn't family, especially because she won't be giving her boyfriend a family. Spoiler, she can't have kids due to medical stuff and they aren't even married, which is just horrible.
Wow. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's I see why they wouldn't want to live with them, but at the same time, if you knew that was what you were looking at, why would
Act
you
the way that
gambled
you
and you
did.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know,
Play
don't
stupid
stay
games.
win stupid prizes. With the group chat, I have screenshots of their group chat, courtesy of Mr. Attic, and there's a lot of evidence of them feeding lies to each other, talking all about how they told this person this or that person that. Mr. Basement made a claim that I came onto him and his girlfriend went nuts. I think she doesn't know that he lied about it just to make it more believable to the others. When he first made the claim, she blew up my phone and social media before dragging it to others. My sisters weren't surprised by my behavior. That stung. I have never done anything like that in the past. My sisters, they also have their notices. The 25-year-old is already moving in with a couple of friends who think that I am not great. Piece of crap. They come every so often to help her move things, and they send me nasty looks or make loud, intentional comments for me to hear. She has been dumping my food into the trash and dumping it down the sink. I just got a mini fridge in my room, and she spends all night screaming at my locked door. I take my work to a local cafe, or rather, multiple ones, or library now because she will just shriek anytime she thinks that I am working. I make it vary and don't go the same place twice in a row. The 27-year-old has turned to begging for me to let her stay as she can't afford to live on her own and she has no one willing to take her. Her boy toy didn't even know she had one, broke up with her when he got the cease and desist from the lawyer. He was one of the ones causing problems, but once the lawyer stepped into bat, he bounced. According to Mr. Attic, he heard her telling someone something along the lines of, he could move in if he helped her get me to leave or back down because it's family property. She had been taking a call outside, and I caught the proof on camera because he told when and where to look for it. Quick edit: my sisters are not moving in together because they blame each other. They also blame the basement tenants while they blame my sisters. They all collectively blame me as well since I'm just pure evil, but they think each of them pushed me to do it. The cameras, only Mr. Attic still has access. The cameras were not a part of the rental agreement, and everyone lost their minds when I took away the access. They tried covering them or adjusting them, but I warned them that they would be held liable for damages and anything else I could get if they did that again. Now I get middle fingers and aggressive stances and stares into the camera. I'm sure that I'm missing things. I just can't sleep. I'm swamped with getting them out with work and with trying to fill their places and getting the basement redone before going back on the market. No more further updates.
Gotcha. Oh my goodness.
What a disaster.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah. Nope, no, 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 no. It just, there's so many, there's so many things to touch on. Let's, let's start on just good on her. For one, it sounds like she is not only getting legal advice, she is
Mm-hmm.
following legal advice. Because let me
Yes.
tell you, that can be one of the most frustrating things where someone gets the legal advice and they decide not to follow it. And it's like, well, then why'd you come for the legal advice in the first place?
Yep.
Anyway, anyway. Um, so she's listening. Good on
Mm-hmm.
her to stand her ground. The fact that she's even gone as far to pursue civil action in the form of getting, an OFP, in order for protection. Like, she's serious about this. And that's good. There's follow
Mm-hmm.
through. I also just, I'm wondering if she's still getting paid rent during this time, because it sounds like it wasn't direct deposit. It was, or
By
not, like,
physical checks.
it was by physical check. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
by like e-pay. So are they still
Mm-hmm.
giving her rent? Because if they are not, then that can, give grounds to getting them out early, potentially, depending on
Mm-hmm.
the landlord contract, depending on the state's laws. Like, there's so much there that I know we're not getting, but like, I just want to know how this ends.
I know.
Ah,
We can make up a good story in our head for how it ends.
we want, like, I'm sorry, 5 years? Five
Five
years?
years. And now
Ah,
it's all of a sudden an issue.
I'm sorry, if that's 5 years, that's five renewals of not looking at the contract. That
Yeah.
is what, 60 monthly payments made. 61 if you want to include security deposit, which is usually made before your first rent. Um, that's 61 checks, 61 times to figure out, like, hey, who's actually the landlord? Like, I'm no, 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 no sympathy, none at all. Shocker, shocker, if there's no one else in your life willing to take you in, maybe reflect on why that is.
Mm-hmm. That yikes. Yeah, there's a lot. I don't know. It also like baffles me that they're like you need to lower rent although it's already under market value.
Right? And the
Like how
sister that's
about
like,
look?
oh, right, look. And also, like, the sister that claimed, oh, it's family property. What?
Come again? Come again?
That's so, what? No. Like, what do you even, huh? No,
No, it's not.
no, no.
I
Again,
do not claim no.
no, no. There, I can't give legal advice.
I know.
If, yeah, just,
My
that's,
brother's house properties are their properties. I am not entitled to anything because it's theirs. It is not mine. Just because they own a house doesn't mean that I have any sort of say in their
no.
house.
No, even if you're going through like next of kin type deals when someone passes away, there are levels before you get to siblings. Like
Mhm.
that's so far removed. The
Yeah.
audacity, the greediness, the fact that they're calling her greedy. No, I'm sorry. Opening up her home like that to rent out to multiple people, I'm sure finances played a large part in it, as she kind of mentioned in there, but you are not obligated to
Mm-mm.
provide space for people in your home.
Correct.
And they're not. Oh my God. I know there's actual people like this in the world. It just drives me up the wall how some people could be so dumb.
Mhm. Some people are just something. They're
Well,
something.
there's something, but they keep the civil attorneys in business.
Yeah,
Ugh.
you're not wrong.
Oh my
Gosh.
God. I'm
What
just
a mess.
imagining. I mean, like, because we both have siblings, I can't, like, it's more relevant to me because I have two younger sisters.
Mhm.
I cannot imagine a point where we would ever have that conversation or even get anywhere close to that point. So this whole thing, and again, they said the family relationship wasn't great, so I know that heavily impacts,
Mhm.
but I just can't imagine doing this to my siblings at all.
No.
No.
No. And there was something on a comment that I saw when I went back in there that was more on their relationship growing up to give us a little more background on that. Our lives have been a mess of social services and foster care as children, all aging out at 18. I didn't go out of my way to tell them about buying a house, partly out of guilt, and they came to me for leads on places to live in the time of need. The guilt comes from not taking them in when I had the opportunity to at 18. I would have jumped through massive hoops, and I did not feel prepared to care for even myself, let alone a couple of kids I hardly knew since we had been separated often. We reconnected when they aged out, and we built from there. And they also don't share the same last names because they all have different fathers.
Yeah. Oh, that's just a really unfortunate set of
Situation.
circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I can appreciate why she would feel guilt, especially as an older sibling,
Mm-hmm.
for not taking them on, but also at 18, like you are a child. Legally, you're an
Yeah.
adult, but you are, for all intents and purposes, a child. And the hoops that she mentions having to go through, yeah, it's a lot to try
Mm-hmm.
to prove that you are able to take care of yourself and two siblings to the courts in order to adopt them. Like that's a
At
lot.
18, there, no. Yeah. It's not impossible, but it's
No,
insanely difficult.
it's insanely difficult. So I can understand why at some level she would have guilt on that.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that she did her best to try to make up for it, and if the siblings this is how they're reacting on it. I mean, that's not on her. That's they're old enough now to make their own decisions.
Exactly. Yep. They're all adults now and out of school. They all have jobs that pay them real money. They can take care of themselves now.
Hmm. Ugh, that's just also this is a thing that I don't understand, and this is such a common thing in Reddit stories, but
Hmm.
it just blows my mind when, like in this case, how the four tenants had all these other people start harassing the OP, the original poster. Like, that in my mind is crazy. You and I have
Yeah.
gone through stuff in our life where people have been like objectively awful to us, and at no point has it ever been like, oh, I hate this person for you, so I'm going to go harass them.
Never.
Like, that that makes absolutely no sense to me. Now, like, if I saw them in public, would I be super bubbly and friendly? No, but I would never like go out of my way to be doing social media posts and like getting anywhere close to the realm of defamation.
Getting your whole family and friends involved too.
Yeah, I don't know. That to me, that's just that is wild.
Yeah, it's never crossed my mind to be like, I hate this person so much, so I'm going to get all of my friends, all of my families to also start going after. Why? No.
No, now to be clear, the two of us can have a kvetch fest like no other.
Oh, yeah.
But that's when we're, on the phone together, we're hanging out. This is not a public thing. We're not holding our opinions out as fact to the general public or to
Hmm.
anyone else. Like that that we get. You need to have someone you can kvetch with.
Hmm.
But this is whew, there is some emotional immaturity there. Well, hopefully we can make a little addendum to this episode one day because she will be kind enough to update the general masses.
I hope so. And if I post this and you guys see an update, let me know. Let me know. Put the link in the comments or email it to us. Do something because I want to know.
And our email is listed in the description box below.
Yes, it
Uh,
is.
well, curious, as we've started to do now with these Am I the A hole episodes, which I think we're all in agreement here. The original poster, OP, she's not the A hole at all.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah, figured as much.
Nope.
But what do you guys think? And have you run into something similar? How did you handle this? If you don't feel comfortable sharing it in our comments and you want to keep it anonymous, you can always email it to us. And the same disclaimer we gave you last time, you better make up the names because if you leave it to us, we're going to make up some weird name like Mr. Foot Fetish.
Connie will give those nicknames. You'll get boring ones from me, but yeah, Connie will come up with fun ones.
I have to channel my unhingedness into a productive outlet.
It's something.
Naming. Yeah, so there you go. If anyone you want suggestions for naming things, I can, ask in the comments. I can help you. Don't sue me if you hate it. Because if I tell you to name your kid Slagathor and you do, that's on you. That's not on me. I put it out
Mm.
there. You chose to do that. Blame free will.
Oh gosh. Well, on that note, I guess. Thanks for hanging out with us this week for another Am I the A-hole? These are a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll see you next week for who knows what.
Adios.
Bye.
Uh, sis, I can't believe some people. Actually, I
Mm-mm.
can. I can.
Mm.